My work is of vital importance to the Earthfather. The honor of tallying the Grandfather's boxes is mine. The enumeration has no end.
Say hello to Epidemius, a free LC Lord added with this patch, not a part of the actual DLC. He has been added to the game for free with his patch, but he is in Mortal Empires only, not in Realms of Chaos.
The honor of tallying the Grandfather's boxes is mine.
So, his faction is referred to as the Tallyman of Pestilence. Why? Epidemius is Nurgle's chosen Tallyman, one of the 7 proctors of Pestilence and the cataloger of all the Plague Lord's myriad diseases. His path through the realms is an unpredictable one, for he goes wherever the spore of pestilence leads him. Epidemius is busiest of all when Nurgle's power is strong, for the mind of the Plague Lord is inextricably linked to the constantly shifting ebb and flow of disease. Campaigning armies with all the poor hygiene that entails offer a glut of work for the Tallyman, but also present rare opportunities for his more unusual studies. It is a rare privilege to observe a mortal's decline as their body and soul is ravaged by disease, but the experience is often over far too quickly. Unfortunately, there are always more victims to study. Epidemius ventures forth from the Forest of Decay in the hope of cataloging all of the Plague Lord's many voted gifts to the mortal world. So he starts way up here. Now you're probably thinking, wait a minute, isn't that where Daniel starts? It used to be. They have moved Daniel now a little over here, to the area where the Tzeentch faction over here is. So Daniel's starting position you can even see here. He's literally been moved over here now. He used to be over here, they've now moved him over here so that Epidemius could have that spot. Because it makes sense he would start in the Forest of Decay. So, Epidemius is actually pretty hilarious. And you'll also notice, like here in this cutscene, he's not fond of Nurglings. The way I would describe Epidemius, based on what I have learned, whereas Kugath is, say, the fun-loving uncle who just loves Nurglings and loves to spoil them, Epidemius is the strict, no-nonsense, uncle who is more interested in doing his work than having fun or playing around. He's like the librarian who is extremely focused and takes his job extremely seriously, where he wants to make sure every single book in every single corner of the library is perfectly organized and in perfect order. And he sees the Nurglings as just these little brats that just want to have fun and make his job so much more worse and annoying. He just wants to do his job. He just wants to focus on his work, which is tallying, keeping track and tallying of everything about every plague that happens, because that's the job that's been given to him by Grandfather, by Nurgle. And he takes great pride in his job, and if the Nurglings dare get in the way, well, then they need to just get out of the way. He doesn't give a crap about the Nurglings, whereas Kugath loves them. Epidemius is just like, ugh, get out of here and let me focus on my job already. He's really funny. His lines are hilarious. So even though he starts off with Nurglings in his army, he's not going to be, like, buffing the Nurglings. That's Kugath's thing. Kugath now has gotten some really nice buffs to Nurglings, like, in general. Not just, like, individually or just in his army, but faction-wide. And I can show this in the video when, because I may show that in a bit here as well, so. But right now I'm just focusing on showing you guys Epidemius. So he gains powerful rewards based on the number of plagues on known Nurgle factions. So this very much has to do with the new plague mechanic, or rather the new version of the plague mechanic. Kugath is about the quality of his plagues. That's why he has a new faction effect change here where he adds an additional blessed symptom when he generates plagues. And also adds an additional blessed symptom +1 for every 10 ranks of the faction leader. So he gets more blessed symptoms to increase the quality of his plagues. Epidemius doesn't really care about the quality of the plagues, he cares about the quantity. The more plagues that are out and about, affecting non-Nurgle factions, the more benefits he gets. So, quality, it goes to Kugath, whereas quantity goes to Epidemius. And, well, Tomarkhan doesn't really care either way. So, he also has reduced cycle time for the Plague Flesh Poppies buildings, recruit rank for the Plague Bearers and the Exalted Plague Bearers, so he's more so going to be caring about and focus on the Plague Bearers rather than the Nurglings. And more campaign movement range for the Cultists. He also gets the Tallyman's Blades, which summons a unit of Exalted Plague Bearers. Regeneration when fighting an enemy that has a plague on them, and more melee attack when fighting an enemy army with a plague on them. So you're definitely encouraged to get a plague on them and then attack them so you can get those benefits and buffs. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into a campaign, and I can go ahead and show you guys a bit of Epidemius, who has a hilarious mount.
Make fresh victims, Tallyman! May the bells and gongs toll!
So believe it or not, there was a way to get Epidemius into this game before this came out, and that was through a mod called Legendary Characters. But it added him as a legendary hero for Kugath, not as a legendary lord. I'm not entirely sure what the folks who, those who run that mod are going to do. Are going to do about that. But then again, there is an option if you add the mod controls or the MCT mod to just simply turn him off. You can actually have toggles, be like, okay, I don't want this hero, I don't want this lord. You can turn them off if you want. So that could be a thing from now on. Epidemius is Nurgle's chosen tallyman, who must oversee his master's domination of the world through the spreading and cataloging of plagues. As Epidemius' plagues spread far and wide between non-Nurgle victims, they can contribute to his tally of pestilence, which greatly increases his power. Conquer the world in Plague Lord's name to lead the tallyman of pestilence to their campaign victory. So, his short campaign victory is destroy Haggrief, Malachi. So, Malice, Boris, and Malachi, and 35 settlements. The long campaign victory is Kislev and the Orthodoxy. And get Talabheim. So there's actually some story behind why he has to get that. But this is the unique thing up here for him. The Tally of Pestilence. Reckoner of Mortality is busiest when Nurgle's influence is strong. His power inextricably linked to the constantly shifting. Yeah. Counter can both increase and decrease between power levels. So, 1 to 4 plagues are up and about. Increases his research rate faction-wide, and he gets the Father's Blessing, which can let him summon a unit of Nurglings, and activates automatically when conditions are met. So if his hit points are like less than 10%. Oh, that's... Okay. I believe that's actually a... So that's not for him. That's for the enemy, Lord of Hero. So yeah, I saw this in a stream. He has a hilarious ability where he can cause an enemy hero lord that when they get to low health, he can like cast on them, and then he can cause their corpse to basically explode into Nurglings. It's horrible, but it's hilarious. Just like they die and they explode into Nurglings for him to use. It's kind of crazy. So, 5 to 9 plagues active, he gets 20% research rate. The Father's Gift. And an extra use of the Tallyman's Blades. Effects on the non-Nurgle armies when a plague is created by your faction. Yeah. 10 to 19. 35%. And it seems like a... Look at the damage per second. Look at that. And then the ultimate 20 plus, Epidemical. 50% research rate faction-wide. The Father's Benevolence. And it summons a Great Unclean One. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you're very encouraged to get as many plagues out and active as possible on non-Nurgle factions.
Plague, not disease.
So look at Epidemius.
Strength.
He's on a chair. Now, it doesn't show him with his paper, but when we get to a battle, he'll just be like having a piece of paper out, and he'll just be constantly writing stuff down and such. But his chair is being carried by Nurglings.
Epidemius. Plague counter. One, two, three.
1, 2, 3.
A refinement of decay.
Oh, another thing they changed is they have made unholy manifestations much easier to get. It used to be so, like, you had to do so much spreading of corruption to get unholy manifestations. They have drastically reduced the requirements for these and have made these much easier to get. So you'll be able to use these more often as the Chaos factions. So if you're planning on playing some more Nurgle, you get to do that more often now. Isn't that great? So unfortunately I couldn't put a plague on them beforehand because I don't have access to it yet. It is annoying that you have to go through like a bit before you can even get access to the plague mechanic, because it used to be you would have that available on the first turn. But then again, they have changed how it works and infections and all that, so... Gosh, the greater chaos spawns you can get through mods look amazing.
Epidemius!
Epidemius! So, there it is. You can see, he's like, alright, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the Nurglings are just, hey! And he's like, get away! Stop bothering me! Here's the funny part. He won't stop cataloging. Only if he gets attacked and he pulls out his sword will he attack. But sometimes he won't even put the paper away. He'll just keep attacking, but he'll still have the paper out like he wants to make sure he's still doing his work. He is so committed to his job. It's hilarious. Alright, no new units in his army over here, so I can't show you any new stuff like toad dragons or anything. That's what Tomarcon is basically for. Alright. Ah, the Nurglings. We've missed the Nurglings, haven't we? Aren't they just wonderful? Don't you just love them? I forgot, I wanted to show that off. If you give them a command, they will look at you and nod. I love that! They are adorable. It's so hilarious. It's so funny.
My work is too vital for our foes to interrupt. Ensure that they do not.
So watch Epidemius. He just sways back and forth. The Nurglings are I'm trying to carry him across. And he's still cataloging. He has a job to do. Even though he's just swaying back and forth. He looks like he's a drunk driver. It's hilarious. Epidemius is way too funny. Also, just Nurgle corruption in all its glory. How many of you ate before this? Anyone hungry? Like, I don't want to get into range of these guys. Those horrors hurt. By the way, there's a mod that came out recently for Tzeentch, adding this, what's called like a Bane Tower. Oh my gosh, that thing hits like a truck. It is such a powerful siege unit. Alright, let me see here.
Yes!
Go get him, Nuglings!
Any bite! Child! Please find danger! Great! Decay! I will add to the tally myself!
Quick, Nurglings! Stop them!
The Taliban! Despair!
Got some more Exalted Plague Bearers here. Oh gosh, those blue horrors.
Reckoner of mortality!
Get him!
Maggot King! Maggot!
You know what? Can't leave those pink horrors there either. What are you doing? Get him!
Tally Yes! Nurgle Summit!
Alright, so he's got his sword out and he's attacking, but he still has his paper out. He's not going to let some paint horrors stop him from doing his job. This is a job given to him by grandfather.
Proliferations.
Oh, the Zangors are running. Gosh, I forgot how fast those toads are. Well, I lost a unit of Nurglings. But then again, he doesn't care about Nurglings anyway. If you're going to focus an army with Epidemius, thematically, it actually makes more sense to focus on the Plague Bearers and instead of Nurglings. You'd rather have Nurglings if you're playing as Kugath. But if you're playing Epidemius, it's probably a better idea to have Plague Bearers in your army instead. Of course, I was also in a not great position because they were up on the high ground and I was going uphill, so it just made my units slower trying to get to them.
These once living containers.
More infections! We need to get plagues up and going!
Epidemius.
So, when it comes to the starting position, there's two noticeable, like, uh-oh, kind of, like, guys you gotta watch out for. Daniel, over here. And, of course, Malice Darkblade. Definitely gotta watch out for Malice. Now, Epidemius' skill tree. He's got the Tally of Pestilence, which increases his melee attack and resistance, like, with the more... Yeah, up to 20 and 15. Allies in range. Affects units if unit is demonic. The Tallyman's Host. More ammunition for Exalted Plague Bearers and Plague Drones. So yeah. Like I said, he definitely has stuff to help buff up those units, specifically like Plague Bearers. Now this recruitment health for all demonic units. Plague immunity, duration reduced for all future plagues, and infection cost reduced. So whereas Tomarkon was focused on non-demonic units for Nurgle, Epidemius is more focused on demonic units. So he's got Epidemic Outburst. Layers of rotten skin explode in a toxic cloud of decay, forcing the foe to stagger back in agony and disgust. Strong versus multiple combatants. Contagious lethargy. Epidemic outbreak. And pestilent decay. Yep.
An improvement!
Alright, let's go ahead and restock our army here.
The song of victory!
Probably could have done that before the battle. But then again, they probably would have, because they were already at low health. At least now, at the end of this turn, it gives them a time to kind of replenish during this time. Yeah, we're back on a Mortal Empires map where the turn timer takes longer because more factions and such.
Oh, I yearn to watch a wound fester.
You say I love to watch a room fester.
Tallyman! Six, 7, 8.
6, 7, 8. Let's go ahead and do an unholy to just get their health up.
Yes, a high virulence indeed. A gift from the earth.
Wait, does it not work if you're not... Oh, no. So here's the thing. I didn't know, because I don't think I've ever tried this in enemy territory. Not once. I didn't know that this apparently doesn't work in enemy territory. Oops. I guess I should have used that before I moved over there. My bad. Oh well. Alright. So. I showed you what I wanted to show you with Epidemius. Unfortunately, I can't show you the tally thing, but you guys get the basic idea. You know, once you get the plague mechanic up and running, spread your plagues. So let me show you a bit of Kugath, though. Especially some, like, one of the things I want to show you is the changes they also made to his skill tree. Now, he's also going to get the new tech tree that you saw with both Tarmarkon and Epidemius. The thing that, though, that now also helps make Kugath much stronger is the new plague mechanic, because he now gets a lot more blessed symptoms, which means his plagues are going to be a lot stronger. But he also gets some other interesting things in his skill tree that buffs his units faction-wide, especially Nurgling. So I'll try and show you guys what I'm talking about. Also, as I mentioned, the plague thing now really helps him be able to deal with Helmengorst, because I imagine a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people didn't really like starting as Kugath because they had to keep dealing with Helmengorst right over here.
We shall shower our foes in plague, pox, violence, and sickness. Then revel in the rot. Plague, ridden.
So, Kugath. Nurgling Tide. Now, Lord's Army, okay, that's basically the same. Here's one of the big changes right here. Minus 25% upkeep for Nurgling units faction-wide. Passive ability regen for Nurgling units rank 7 and above, faction-wide. and melee defense, faction-wide. This includes your garrisons, by the way. So, yeah, if any of your armies have rank 7 or higher Nurglings, oh. Definitely more Nurgle corruption, of course. Great Unclean Ones. Upkeep, faction-wide. Slime Trail, faction-wide. Hero Recruit rank for Plague Ridden, faction-wide. Chance of a plague spreading, 10%, faction-wide. For future plagues and infection costs reduced. So, yeah, Kugath is definitely stronger now. It is interesting, though, that he doesn't get access to this from the very beginning.
Fetch me a skin.
Because he used to have access to this on turn 1. But now they've made it where you gotta get infections in order to get access to it. But the thing is, and I showed this to you guys in the Tomarcon one, the Battle Healing Cap one, that is huge for dealing with Helm and Gorst right away. Especially on higher difficulties. So let's just say playing as Kugath is definitely going to be a better idea these days. You'll definitely be able to have some more fun with Kugath. And I am definitely looking forward to trying that out, especially with seeing how the Blessed Symptoms things work. I'm also really looking forward to seeing some of the other Nurgle mods that have been getting worked on and such. I think it's going to be a really fun time to play Nurgle these days. So when we come back, I'm going to have you guys take a look at what's going on with Karl in the Empire, as well as Balthazar. Stay tuned.